The release of Appetite for Destruction is one of the most genre-defining moments in the history of rock and roll, and it happened more than a decade after the genre peaked in the 60s and the 70s. Being one of the best-selling albums of all time, critics adore the album, and fans, especially those that were around at the time, see it as a throwback to the origins of rock and roll music. For you to understand how important this album was, we have to take a look at the musical landscape of the 80s, probably the most diverse ever. Hip-hop was finding his way onto the mainstream, multiple variations of pop music were at an all-time high, absolutely dominating the charts, and even rock music had evolved into other genres, like punk, metal, and grunge. You still had a few successful old-school rock and roll bands, but even them eventually had to bend the knee to the new era, losing their edge, becoming the new mainstream in many ways. That's when Guns N' Roses came in with their debut album that initially wasn't that successful, for the reasons I explained before, but after touring the album and releasing singles such as Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, and Sweet Child of Mine, the album went straight to number 1. And here's the thing, it wasn't like Guns N' Roses were the first band to release a traditional rock album in a long time. The reason they were successful was because Appetite for Destruction is not a traditional rock album, it simply carries that energy. The taboo themes, the guitar solos, the focus on instrumental breaks, and the unapologetic performances make you feel like you're in the 70s, but the echoed and distorted guitars and the use of hymn-like choruses bring you back to the 80s. They showed that rock and roll was still alive. The genre simply needed to adapt to the times without abandoning their core elements, and 30 million people in the US alone agreed with them. And by the way, this is the nerfed version of the album. November Rain and Don't Cry, in my opinion the best songs by the band, were also going to be included, but the label didn't want that many ballads in the album, so they were saved for future releases. Once again, labels getting in the way of a masterpiece, but who cares, the album is still amazing, and in my opinion one of the best albums of the 80s.